I refuse to turn my channel into the Charlie Kirk News Network, and here's why. So I had a few people asking me why I didn't upload an AMA over this past weekend, and the reason why is because out of the 10 or 15 questions I got since my last AMA, the vast majority of them were asking me my opinion, my thoughts on the Charlie Kirk incident that happened last week. And I was like, I'm not going to upload a video talking about this. I don't even know if I want to make a video about it. I don't know how I want to address it. I didn't even know what I wanted to say about it or if I wanted to say anything at all. So I decided not to upload a video. But from what I've seen over the last few days, I do have some thoughts and opinions on the current coverage of this situation and why I don't want my channel to become one of those channels. When it comes to Charlie Kirk and what happened, I'm seeing a lot of the fandom channels become very opportunistic and going after this incident like it's another Amber Heard, Johnny Depp trial situation, and I just will not participate in that whatsoever. I don't want to be a cog in the wheel of that machine. Channels like Side Scrollers Podcast, who had never mentioned Turning Point USA or Charlie Kirk prior to this past week, now act like there's some cultural reason why they need to latch themselves onto Charlie Kirk and turn their channel into the Charlie Kirk News Network. I refuse. I'm not going to sit on here and spread every single bit of news that drops, every single update to every story that happens, and then not retract it when that information ends up being wrong. I'm not going to sit here and demonize people associated with XYZ. I'm not going to do that. I don't want my channel to be that. And I think anybody watching should be weary of any channel that you follow who all of a sudden shifted focus from the normal content to just covering this multiple videos a day over the last week or so. The real tea is, and the honest conversation that none of the adults in the rooms want to have, is that we have an issue with gun culture in this country. And no one, and when I say that, it's hyperbolic, but I'm going to say it anyway, no one at the top end who actually has any power or concept of how to deal with this is actually having honest conversations about it. All it is political peacocking at the very top. I'm not going to be associated with it. And my position on this will always be logical and consistent. We have an issue with the culture surrounding guns in this country. And until we can admit that and work through that as a country, none of these other issues are going to go away. We're not going to be able to fix them. And anything we do outside of that is performative. And that's just the reality of it. It's something I accepted many, many years ago. And it's something that I wish we didn't exist in, this a system we didn't exist in, but we do. So here we are. The incident that happened with Charlie, on that same day, we had another incident. And since then, we've had other incidents. And we're going to continue to have problems with this until we're ready to have honest conversations about it. And it seems like no one sitting at the top, again, hyperbolic, but this is how I feel. No one at the top feels like they're doing anything to sort of address this problem head on or to have an honest conversation about it. And I wish it were different. I wish there were some common sense chats going on about how to try and fix this problem. And I'm not talking about coming and taking weapons away from anybody, coming to take your guns, any of these things. That's not what I'm talking about. I do believe everybody should have the rights afforded them by the Constitution. I also believe that everybody should have the right to defend themselves. So that's not the conversation I'm having. There's a cultural issue that we are not willing to address here. And everything else outside of that is just political peacocking. And I refuse to be a part of that system. I refuse to be a part of the propagating media that's going on right now around Charlie Kirk, whether it be supporting him, not supporting him. I'm not going to be a part of that. I'm not going to celebrate somebody who is no longer with us. I don't do that. That's not my vibe. That's not my channel. It's not how I roll. I'm not going to start just going on and on and on about topics in the news if they don't fit the kind of content that I typically make, simply because it's what people are talking about. The News Again Side Scroller podcast is doing this. I'm not going to do it. I refuse to be a part of that system. I do see a lot of people out there trying to silence free speech and telling people what they can and can't say about stuff. And that's really unfortunate, because I thought a lot of the people out there who were fighting and being these free speech absolutists would say that we can have a conversation about this, whether you like this person or didn't like this person. I thought that was part of that marketplace of ideas, the free speech thing we had, but I guess we don't have that either. Either way, I refuse to be a part of the circus. I'm not going to jump in the middle of this. I'm not going to perform for it. I'm not going to do any of those things. My position on this is we have a problem that is deeper than one individual person, one individual group, one individual party. In this situation, the issue is the culture around violence in this country, specifically when it comes to guns. And until we actually have a way to talk about that, honestly, as adults, with some sort of common sense solution for it that doesn't require people to lose their rights, unless there's a way to have that conversation, nothing else we say is going to matter. And it's all just going after the algorithm, which is what a lot of these channels are doing. And I refuse. It's the only video I'm going to make about this. So if you're going to leave a question on the AMA for next weekend, there's no point in asking about this, because this is my opinion about this situation and any situation like this. whether it be another individual person, a group of people, a school, whatever it is. My opinion on this is that we need to address the actual issue with this. No more of like these band-aids or political peacocking. There needs to be an honest conversation about it. And until we do that, I have nothing else to say about this.